What's up guys, back with another educational video. I want to talk to you about recovery supplements. Last week we talked about my pre-workout. This week I'm going to talk about Outwork Nutrition's recovery product. As you guys saw last week, I'm talking about my products, but I'm also going to talk about what to look for. I'm going to talk about the ingredients in this, why they're in there, and why I didn't include some ingredients that might surprise you. Again, this is just 5 ingredients, right? No proprietary blends, dosed powerfully. The first thing you may notice is that there are no branched chain amino acids in this recovery product. Now, why is that? I was a big advocate for branched chain amino acids, specifically leucine, for a long period of time. Why did I not include them in recovery? And the reason is that over the years, more and more research data came out. When I first started advocating for these back in like 2005, or for branched chain amino acids that is, the research showed very clearly that they could powerfully increase muscle protein synthesis and seem to be the trigger for muscle protein synthesis in complete proteins as well. And even my particular research in graduate school demonstrated that leucine in the branched chain amino acids and that branched chain amino acid content of different protein sources was predictive for increasing muscle protein synthesis. So I was a big advocate for these things. We just didn't have that much research on how effective they were as standalone supplements on increasing muscle mass. Well, now we know they don't really seem to increase muscle mass. And that's probably due to the fact that if you're eating high quality protein already, having extra branched chain amino acids appears to be superfluous. There may be validity for them for like people who are vegan, who get really low quality protein sources, or people who train in the morning fasted, who can't really stomach any complete proteins without it upsetting their GI. So for them, a BCAA or an EAA might actually be beneficial. But for the most of us, it doesn't appear so, especially based on the research showing actually lower rates of muscle protein synthesis from a BCAA supplement compared to an intact whey protein supplement. What was the purpose of recovery? So the whole mantra behind the Outwork Nutrition brand is to help you train harder, our pre-workout, and recover faster, okay? So that you can get back in the gym. The gym, your training sessions, supplements don't build muscle. Your training sessions are what build muscle. So we want to support your training sessions, make them as effective as possible, recover as quickly as possible so you can train again, create more overload, create more muscle. So in the recovery product, the focus is on improving recovery and time to recovery from an exercise bout. So we have, first ingredient, creatine monohydrate at 5 grams per serving. Now, why creatine monohydrate? I've done several videos on creatine. Creatine monohydrate is the least expensive, most tested, most safety tested, and efficacious form of creatine. Why do other companies come out with other forms of creatine? Well, because creatine monohydrate is ubiquitous, it's highly prevalent, so it's very cheap and no one can make money off of it. People come out with other forms of creatine in order to try to charge you, the consumer, more. When compared straight up with some of these other forms, like creatine ethyl ester, buffered creatine, creatine monohydrate usually performs better, and in the case of buffered creatine, performed just as good at like 5 times less the cost. And these companies will make claims like, oh, well, our creatine doesn't cause water retention. Really? Water retention, the pulling of water into the intracellular space, and I have a video talking about this, is one of the anabolic benefits of creatine. It's one of the lean body mass increasing benefits of creatine. This isn't water weight that makes you look bloated. This is water weight that makes you look good. This is water inside the muscle cell. It is a good thing. If you're saying your creatine doesn't cause water retention, what you're saying is your creatine doesn't work. We use creatine monohydrate. The only form of creatine that seems to have some research backing as to possibly being an alternative to creatine monohydrate is creatine hydrochloride. Now, creatine hydrochloride requires less dosage to apparently dissolve and get into circulation. Now, that being said, even at that lower dosage, it's still over double the cost. So again, we include creatine monohydrate because it is the most tested and effective form of creatine, and it is the least cost to you, the consumer. So most people know the benefits of creatine: increased strength, increased lean body mass, improved performance in the gym, better recovery. I've done several videos about creatine that you can check out. Betaine Anhydrous at 2,500 milligram dosage. So betaine, there's some research showing it can increase lean body mass and that it also can improve performance and power output. L-carnitine L-tartrate. So that has been shown to decrease muscle soreness, improve recovery. There is some data suggesting it might improve performance as well. And it's been shown to increase androgen receptor density. Now, I don't know if that's actually going to make a difference, but there is a study showing it does increase androgen receptor density, meaning that at your same level of testosterone, theoretically, if you had more androgen receptors in your muscle cells, that testosterone would be more potent or effective. Now, there's no hard data to show that, but we do know it seems to increase androgen receptor density, interestingly. Then we have Tart Cherry powder. It's been shown to decrease the late onset muscle soreness in resistance trained men. So a lot of these studies are done in people who aren't resistance trained. They just take them in, do a session that makes them sore, and check to see if something reduces soreness. This was actually done in people who train hard, and they did show that it decreased soreness. And then ashwagandha. Ashwagandha at a 300 milligram dose. Ashwagandha is very cool. Ashwagandha is another adaptogen. It seems to decrease stress and stress hormones. It's also been shown to increase testosterone, but very modestly. I don't think the benefits of ashwagandha are from the testosterone increases because they're pretty small. And it's been shown to increase lean body mass and strength in a few studies. I'd like to see more studies and especially like hash out what the mechanism is, but it does seem to be a really cool ingredient. Now, why did I put creatine in here and not the pre-workout? Well, if you watch the pre-workout video, one of the things I mentioned was the pre-workout, all the ingredients in there are meant to have an acute effect, save for maybe beta-alanine. So they're meant to have an acute effect that will give you a performance benefit that workout, and that's why it's a pre-workout. We thought about calling this post because it sounds better. So, pre-workout, post-workout, but none of these ingredients are timing dependent. And so in the interest of just being the scientific integrity, we called it recovery. So all these ingredients, none of them are going to help you after one dose. They need time to accumulate in the tissues to exert their effects. So therefore, we put the ingredients that are going to take, long-term to have their benefits in the recovery product, and the short-term stuff is in the pre-workout. Both of these form great adjuncts to your training. Like I said, supplements are not gonna make you jacked. They're not gonna make you a beast, but for people who train hard and eat right, these can give you just a little bit extra advantage in terms of performance and recovery, and that's what we're shooting for. I'm pumped about these products. I'm pumped about this product. Guys, if you wanna check out our products, click the links in the description. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next week.